Now to the most important part of every show. Our guest is Towns County Sheriff Henderson. Welcome, Sheriff.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming on, especially the timing of the show. You're fresh off winning a primary election. Uh, Before we started, this wasn't your first election.
No, it wasn't. I ran in 2020.
Okay, and that was for this position also.
Yes, for sheriff.
Okay. Uh, so this is your second election. You're brave enough to go through two of these so-called political processes. What do you think of the political process?
Well, it's really hard to describe unless you've been there. It's tough. You want to get out. You want to try to meet all the people you possibly can.
Sure.
The day of going door to door, that's over.
Right.
There's so many people living in the county, it's almost impossible. So you got to go to the paper. You got to go to the radio. You got to go to the, billboards.
Right.
Sign. It's tough. It's really tough. I went through this election now for probably been dealing with it for about 11 months prior to the election. So
It's
tough.
not a fun process. I would never run. I wouldn't run for dog catcher, much less sheriff. Oh Lord. What's your background in law enforcement?
Well, I started work for Young Harris College many years ago. I think 83, 82, something like that, I believe. They wanted me to come and work security there and live in the resident hall and be one of the directors in the resident hall. So I kind of wore two hats.
Right.
So I did. My plan was to, I was very young, 20 years old, and so I wanted to get in college, get college classes, and do the things that I needed to do to move forward with my career. At that time, I did not know that I was really wanting to get in law enforcement, but that's what it turned into. So we moved forwards. The president of the college wanted me to set up a police department. I did security. I did that. And very scary moments for me. I mean, I'm getting tapped on the shoulder to set up a police department that I had no idea what I was doing. But I had great friends and people that helped me, and so we did. We set up a police department at the college, and from that, I stayed there until 2020 when I ran for sheriff. And of course, my heart's with Young Harris College. I love Young Harris College. Nothing I wouldn't do for those folks. You got Robbie Rich and all those wonderful guys there. That he's the chief now. We have a great working relationship with these guys, and it's been a good ride for me.
We had Robbie on a while back. I really enjoyed him. I always enjoy when we start talking about his drone.
Yeah.
I learned so much.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, Robbie and Tony Petty were both with me until I left, and then they took over. And the college has got great guys and a great police department.
Yep. From the 1980s to 2024, you had to have seen some changes up here.
Oh my goodness, yes. The thoughts of the changes that have come. We all know that there was a time when our high school kids would go to school with a gun and a rack in the back window of the truck.
Yeah.
Them days are gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. The drugs have changed. Back when I first started working as security at the college, you heard of marijuana, something of that. You never heard of really hard drugs.
Right.
It wasn't anything of that. And then I have seen what has changed from there to now, the seriousness of our drug problem and what kinds of drugs are out there that is scary. Okay, so when I ran for sheriff in 2020, I told the people, I made many promises. I made promises and I kept those promises to the people. And I said then, I will go after these drugs and try and protect our young folks and keep them out of our schools and out of our county. And I have done just that. In a short 3.5 years, I have arrested 300 felony drug arrests. So if that tells you anything, it tells you what kind of problem we're faced with in this country. Our borders are wide open. They're bringing these drugs in here as fast as they can bring them in, and all these little small counties like ours are getting flooded with drugs. And I'm going to be after it every day, 24/7, as long as I'm sheriff, and we're going to beat it back the best that we can.
Very good. In the late 80s, I was an attorney at the state attorney's office down in Florida. And at that time, crack was the drug of choice by our
Yes,
society.
yes.
Crack was everywhere, late 80s. What are you seeing a drug of choice, more prevalent drug choice now?
Okay, what I'm seeing now is very little marijuana.
Right.
Okay, and when you see marijuana, it's going to be laced. Usually, it's going to be laced with something. Okay, so what I'm seeing out here on the streets, big time. If you go to my webpage and to my Facebook
Which,
page,
by the way, I love. We're going to dive into that here shortly. Folks, if you've not gone to the Towns County Sheriff's Office site, it answers any question you may have. It's very insightful.
well, it was very important for me to be transparent with the citizens of Towns County. I told when I ran my platform, it was that I will keep you informed and I'll be transparent. I'll set it up to where you know what's going on. And that's exactly what you can do. You can go to my Towns County Sheriff Facebook page and you can see everything that happens with the Sheriff's Department, okay? So you'll see the drugs we're dealing with, fentanyl. And we all know how dangerous fentanyl is. We just made a bust with fentanyl, a block of fentanyl back on a month ago. And we were told from the lab that there was enough fentanyl there to kill 50,000 people. Okay, so very dangerous drug.
Is it cheap to make? Is that why we're seeing
Well,
that one?
it's my understanding from what I know about fentanyl.
Right.
Fentanyl, the people that are using it have to be very smart in knowing how much to apply to whatever it is they're going
Okay.
to put it in. Okay, so I think it's mixed with meth, it's mixed with heroin, and those are the kinds of drugs we're seeing. And I, you know, when we make busts, it's usually always going to be heroin, meth, fentanyl. Okay?
Wow,
That's
heroin.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we see quite a bit of heroin. You know, heroin left the scene for many years, as you well know.
Yes.
It started back, the drug people wanted to get it back, so they started selling it so cheap that people would buy it, okay?
Sure.
So then they got people back on heroin, hooked on heroin, then they rocked the price. And now you got, it's a very, it's a drug that people want, the drug people want.
Would you say, or meth? I would think that's pretty prevalent. I mean, it's a cheap. I know that one a little. It's pretty, not through personal use. Let me make that clear, Sheriff. But it's a cheap drug to manufacture and make. I had always thought that was probably a pretty big one.
And it is. We see it all the time. There's so many ways that people use this. You know, you can snort it, you can shoot it, you can chew it up, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's so many ways that all these drugs can be used in different forms of how they use it. And so, but yeah, we have a drug issue. And we're going to deal with it. We're going to stay on top of it. You know, when I came to office, there was no K9s there. There was I started a K9 unit. I've got a drug unit now, and that's all they do is work drugs. And we're going to continue to do that.
Very good. Very good. Folks, today's guest is Towns County Sheriff Henderson. I take it there's many benefits by tackling that one subject.
Yes, sir. There certainly is. You know, if your police or sheriff's department or whatever is very aggressive in solving the drug problem, you're not going to see the amount of crime, because crime is related. Drugs is always going to be related to your crimes. Your burglaries go down, your thefts go down, your domestic violence goes down. And we have seen a drastic change in that. In my time, we have seen a 30% drop in burglaries and thefts in Towns County. And that's largely in part because we're going after these drugs, and we're going to continue to do that and make this one of the safest counties as we possibly can in Georgia.
Right. In close to 20 years working with, I don't know, hundreds, if not thousands of homeowners, I've only had 3 break-ins.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
that's-
it really, and one of them, they broke a window, got into an empty house, and speaking with officers, they're like, yeah, this is probably just a druggie, was on drugs at the time, because literally there was no reason to break into the home.
Sure.
And the other one, it was something minor. They didn't steal anything. I've only had one true theft. They kicked in a door on an isolated home, stole the TVs and everything. Cops had them within a week.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
pretty amazing.
Well, I can say it in Towns County, in my 3.5 years in office, I have seen very, very few home burglaries like
Yeah.
that. Very
Yeah.
few. I could almost safely say probably 3, maybe
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
And then it was, like you said, it was somebody broke in and stayed there for the night and moved on.
Yeah. When I first moved here in 2004, I'll never forget, I'm at a listing appointment and they're listing their home with me, and I say, okay, now I'll need a key for the lockbox. And the husband looks to the wife looks to the husband, and I'm sitting there having freshly moved up from Florida where you cut the alarm on all the lights and you get your pistol if you're smart. And they're looking at each other, and I'm like, what is this? And they go, oh, we've never locked our doors. We don't know where a home key is.
Yeah.
Blew me away. I mean, the thought of living in an area like that,
That's right. That's right.
that, and you see folks leaving keys in their cars and things.
Sure.
It
I
just,
mean, and I did that all my life up until recent
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I never locked the house. I never took the keys out of my car. I did. That's just the way it was. It
Yeah.
was that safe here.
it's changing a little.
Yes, it is.
It is, but a lot of growth. People coming from all over.
Oh yes, and we have wonderful people living in Towns County, and I'm fortunate enough to have been selected to be their sheriff, and I appreciate the people of Towns County so much for placing trust and faith in me to give me this position, and I love it. I get to meet all these folks.
Let's dive into your website, because I always do a little background work, and I was really surprised and happy with all the information I found on your website. It has different tabs. One of them was their social media, and you're prevalent on Facebook if people want to follow the sheriff's office. And then there was employment. Are you a certified Georgia Georgia peace officer who is interested in a career in the Towns County Sheriff's Office? How many do y'all have there now?
I want to say I think there's probably about 12 road officers. I have 2 investigators, and I have 2 drug agents, of which those guys work together.
Right.
Okay, whatever's needed. If it's something that that's not drug related, but we're investigating, then those guys will help them. So they work really good together.
All right. Then there's a crash report. It says, are you the representative of an auto insurance company, or were you involved in crash? Do you need a copy of the crash report?
Yes.
That's helpful.
Yes, sir, it is. GSP, if they normally, and my officers can work wrecks, obviously. Of course, they can work the wreck, but normally we will call for GSP to work our wrecks for us.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's what happens, and then we have all the paperwork there for you if you need it, and you are going to need it for your insurance and that kind of thing. So we got
Having
it.
practiced that type of litigation, you're definitely going to
Yeah,
need that
you bet.
report.
You bet. Yeah, you got to have it.
Drug and crime tips. Do you have information about illegal activities or know the whereabouts of a wanted person in Towns County? If so, we'd like to know about it. Tip line.
Yeah, and hey, that's wonderful. You've got that anonymous tip line. Obviously, people don't want to get involved in that, but they want something done about it, and you can call in and leave a message for us, or if you want to talk with us, or if you want to just give us the information, you can do that. And then that helps us to know where there's a problem. The citizens are key to us keeping Towns County safe. And that's by giving us information, letting us know that if there's something going on in your neighborhood that just doesn't seem right, well, let us know about it, and we'll check it out and make sure everything's okay. But that's the whole purpose for that. We want people to call and give us information so we can deal with problem spots.
Sexual offenders. Would you like to learn about sexual offenders residing in Towns County? If so, click on the button below and follow the simple instructions.
Yes, and basically what that does, it will show you the picture of these folks, where they're living in our county, and sexual offenders are required to, when they move to Towns County, first thing they have to do is come to the sheriff's department. Let us know where they're at, where they're living, all these things. Okay, then we go out and check to make sure they're there, and we make sure that they stay there, that they haven't
Right.
moved somewhere else. Right. So we keep a very close check on that.
All right. And then there you have a victim rights tab. You have, here's a helpful one, Towns County Tag Office, tags for the cars. Here's a good one. Extra patrol. Do you have a home or business in Towns County you would like the sheriff's office to keep an eye on? Unfortunately, Packy lives in Union County, so I can't get you over there. Maybe you call them. I like this. Thank a deputy. Is there a Towns County Sheriff's deputy you'd like to thank for helping you? Records requests. If you like to submit a form for open records request. It's a great site, folks. If you're not familiar with it, I really encourage you to go to townscountysheriff.org. That's townscountysheriff.org. Sheriff, I also know that you have a newsletter that's very helpful.
Yes, we do. Basically, everything that's on the sheriff Facebook page is in the badge. We mail it out to you. We'll email it to you. Whatever how you choose that you want to receive it. But it's all the same things. I said I want to be transparent with our citizens, and I started a newsletter along with the Facebook page so that I can keep you informed. So if you want that, call my office, tell them your address, all the information that they need, and you'll get that monthly.
Folks, I would say that the electorate's very happy with the job you're doing, giving you just one.
Well, I tell you, I am so humbled and honored and pleased that the citizens have placed faith in me. And you know what? I get up every day to not let them down, and I won't let them down.
Folks, today's guest has been Towns County Sheriff Henderson. Thank you so much, Sheriff.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much.